We went to go see Toy Story 5. I somewhat controversially kind of enjoyed Toy Story 4 more than 3. Um, but I do remember saying that Toy Story 4 felt like more like an episode of the Toy Story TV show. We saw 5 in theaters, and during it, I was thinking, this feels like an extended episode of the Toy Story TV show. And then the moments the credits started rolling, Kat turned to me and we were chit-chatting, and the first thing that she said about the movie was, remember when you called Toy Story 4 an extended episode of the Toy Story TV show? That's what 5 feels like. Not a bad film. That's not to say it's bad. It's just significantly less ambitious than the previous ones. Even by 4. Even 4. Is it the weakest of the series? Maybe, I guess. But it's by no means a bad movie. It's just like, this could have been... Did this have to be a movie? Why did the movie have to exist? I think that's a good place to start. You look at anything that comes out and you think, why did this have to exist? And it's fine for something to exist just to be a sequel. There's a million Godzilla films. I love Godzilla movies. I don't mind that they're just made because, well, we should make a Godzilla movie again. But the previous Toy Story movies, especially the first 3, were made because, like, they had an idea and they had a story they really wanted to tell. And I'm discounting, like, even good Godzilla movies. Let's just put them in a box for now. Let's just put them in a box. Because I like Godzilla movies a lot, and I think that they have actually a lot to offer. But let's just put them in a box for a second and say that those are just made just cuz. Toy Story movies, the first 3, I feel like were made because they had a story that they wanted to tell that fit the technology and the time and just the, the inspiration. Being very uncharitable to the film, I would say that, like, the first 3 movies, and I also don't even like the third one that much, but I can at least acknowledge that they're all about something. Okay, they're talking toy movies. Toy Story is a movie about toys who talk. But really, it's a movie about... There's more going on. It's a movie about this and that, the relationships between Buzz and Woody, and adapting to change, accepting change in all of its various forms. It's more than that. Toy Story 5 is a movie about toys who talk. And the theme feels more like the lesson of the episode than something more ambitious. It's not really saying anything about life in the way that the first 3 were, or even kind of the 4th one. I liked the themes of parenthood in the 4th one. I thought that, like, okay, that it kind of won me over with that. I thought that stuff was interesting. Woody kind of taking on the role of a parent, the way that toys kind of see their own kids off. I feel like the earlier films almost feel they have more of a dynamic of children being abandoned by parents, and 4 almost flips that on its head, where it's parents having to accept, being an empty nester and moving on. 5 is a movie about how technology can be bad for kids and causes a lot of stress for them, but if you use it responsibly, it can be helpful. And you got to know who your friends are. And that's not a bad message. It's honestly probably pretty good. And I'm sure a lot of kids... Look, I grew up with the internet. I grew up with fucking Kik chat rooms. I imagine this is useful to a lot of kids, and it's relevant to a lot of parents who are dealing with this stuff, who haven't grown up with technology, and it's just they don't know how to parent with that in the picture. But very clearly, there's like a difference, right? There's a difference in scope between the two of those. That's why I call it a less ambitious movie. But it's not bad. It's also very Jesse focused, which I think is nice. We've had like basically 4 movies of Woody action. That might sound weird. Although one of my complaints about the fourth film was that Woody got really sidelined in terms of being able to do stuff. He got girl powered out. The fifth one feels a lot like a Jessie movie, and I think that's fine. It feels like Wooly has... Oh my god. Not Wooly Madden of the Wooly versus stream. Okay. I swear to God, I got enough sleep and I ate and everything. Like, I feel good. Maybe I'm just talking too much. Woody's had a pretty complete feeling character arc, and I guess Buzz has too. So I feel fine with them just kind of hanging around and being what I guess you'd call flat characters, and pushing the development in the character arcs more towards like Jessie, who's been around and done stuff, but this movie really gives a spotlight to her and has her go through some stuff and become different. And that's all cool. It's all well and good. I think it's pretty well executed, except for one thing. Spoilers. So there's a point in the movie where Jessie goes back. She ends up back at the farmhouse where her original kid grew up. Ooh, that's interesting. I don't think we've seen this before. This is kind of an interesting opportunity for drama and some catharsis. It's been so long that original kid is like now an adult, and there's a new family living there. And Jessie is kind of like going through this weird thing of like, it's her room, but it's not her room. And that was kind of interesting. Like, I have not visited the place that I grew up. I've never had a chance to go back to Chicago and like look at my old childhood home, but I imagine it would probably feel kind of weird, you know? It's kind of my house, but it's really someone else's house now. And that kind of connection to a space is kind of like an interesting it's a little side thing. It's not a huge part of the film. But basically, Jessie's at this point where everything's fucking up. None of the plans have worked. And because they're trying to... Honestly, the movie gets like a little... The movie kind of like really spreads out. It never like falls apart or gets too messy, but it feels like there's just a lot of stuff going on. And it feels like they kind of knew how simple the plot was at a basic level. And they were like, oh, fuck, we need to add more stuff. We need to add more conflicts. And it doesn't quite feel padded because everything works out. Everything ties up nicely. But it just kept going. I was trying to like, what is the main problem of the film? It's that they're trying to get a friend for Bonnie, the new little girl who was introduced at the end of 3 and then was in 4 and is now in 5. Bonnie is getting a little older, and they introduced tech to her house, and it's affecting the way that she's growing up and making friends. And Jessie is trying to get her a real friend. And the plans keep failing, and eventually, in total dejection, she goes out to the hill where her original kid first played with her, and she's visiting it for the first time, and just kind of like, fuck. And she's like, I'm of no use. I'm useless. Toys are over. Billions must device. Billions must doom scroll. And then, like, this big horse comes around, and she sees something in the ground. Okay, here's the thing. She sees that a heart has been carved into the tree trunk. And it's like, it says Jessie inside, like Emily plus Jessie inside. And she was like, that's weird. And she has this horse dig up. She sees something in the dirt, and the horse digs something up. And it's a lunchbox. And they open the lunchbox, and it's kind of almost like a time capsule. I don't know why it was there, but it's like addressed to Jessie. And you're like, this is weird. Did Emily write a letter to her toy, and then you flip the photo around, and it's a picture of Emily as an adult woman with her young daughter. And the other shoe drops, and you realize Emily named her daughter after her first toy, which is fucking weird. I looked at Kat, and that was the moment that we both looked at each other and went, what? Like, it really lost us on that. At least me. What the fuck? What? That is so weird. What? What? Why is no one in this world normal about toys? Why is no one normal about their toys? Andy is like a 19-year-old, spends 20 minutes playing with every single toy, being a fucking weirdo in front of this little girl. Emily names, like, really? That was it? It's because it meant that much to... Okay. It's just so weird to me. I have such a hard time buying that. That's just really bizarre. I guess it could happen, but I have such a difficult time wrapping my head around someone who would do that it like takes me out of the movie. Like, I feel like it would have been much easier and less, I don't know, immersion breaking if they had just made it so that, like, she got her daughter a Jessie toy. Which I know that they're, like, supposed to be rare or something. I'd say it was a reproduction. Or she sought out an original, you know? Something like, I don't know. Something like that. That she went the extra mile to get her daughter the same. I mean, that's a little weird, too. Is like, you're going to play with the same toys I did when I was your age. But at least it would have been like, no, she cares. She cared a bit. It was just weird. I did not like that part. That was really strange. As a side note, everyone in the Toy Story universe, and this is something that really started with 4, it feels like certain nitty-gritty plot moments have a little bit of contrivance sprinkled in to sort of kind of grease the wheels of the plot. There's a lot of instances that I don't remember from the first 3 movies. There's a lot of instances in the 4th and the 5th one where the toys just do something or go somewhere or do something different that is like that the people, like their human owners, did not put them there. And then they find them again, and they're like, that's weird. How did they end up there? And actually, that did happen once or twice. It happens at, like, the end of Toy Story 1, but it's, like, once. It happens maybe, like, once a movie. I don't even think it happens a single time in Toy Story 3. And there's a lot of effort given towards the toys, like, not giving any indication or raising any kind of suspicion that they're alive. And then in 4 and 5, it just happens like all the time. They're just always jumping into backpacks or hopping in or hopping out or doing like being very, very active in the plot around human beings and altering events, like having a lot of effect on events that are happening. And the humans just go, okay. Like, no one seems to really mind. I think that here's an idea for Toy Story 6. The humans start to catch on to all of this weird stuff that keeps happening with their toys, and they bring in, like, an exorcist. They're gonna do, like, a paranormal activity, and they're gonna try to raise the spirits from the toys. and then Woody's spirit leaves him, and he goes into, like, a dog or something. I don't know. I think that would be fun. It turns into, like, an Annabelle movie. Yeah, Toy Story 5, it's good. It's well executed, but it's not, like... The potential ceiling of the film is not that high, if that makes sense. It doesn't reach that high, and it nails it. Also, Conan's in it. Conan's actually a very good voice actor. He's good.